I've wanted to do a fish fry for a while, and now that I'm recently returned from India and have actually tasted it, I know what I want mine to taste like. So first we're going to make a marinade. Into a bowl, I'm going to add a teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder. That is not too hot, that chili powder. A teaspoon also of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of turmeric, ground cumin, garam masala, a teaspoon of salt. Then here I've got a tablespoon of semolina flour and a tablespoon of, you can either use rice flour or you could use tapioca. Semolina is for a bit of crunch, and the rice flour and tapioca is for crispness. So I'm going to tip these all into a bowl. In here, I had one garlic clove and a piece of ginger about that big, so about 2 centimetres, which I have blitzed up in my little blitzing machine to turn it into a paste. By all means, use the stuff in a jar. So you could use a teaspoon of ginger paste and a teaspoon of garlic paste. That's going to go in. Now you can either use lemon juice, or I'm going to use tamarind paste because that's used a lot in Kerala and Goan cooking for the sourness. So it's quite strong stuff. So I'm just going to put a teaspoon of that in. Give it a stir. You don't want it to be too wet, but if it's too dry, so mine is still a bit dry, I've just rinsed this out with some water. I'm just going to put in a few drops at a time. Maybe a little bit more. That's the perfect consistency. Right, the fish fries in India are usually done with just whole fish. So if you're using whole fish, I'm using mackerel, by the way. That is the best fish to make it with. If you're using a whole fish, cut through the skin carefully, making slits, but I'm using mackerel fillets. I've put gloves on because I don't want turmeric all over my hands. So I'm going to start on the underside. Oh yeah, there's bones. There are bones in this fillet. If I was doing the restaurant, I would cut the bone. Oh no. Oh. Right. Let's imagine I'm doing this for the restaurant, and I'll just show you how to cut the bones out. The bones run down in one line. So I'm going to do a V cut with my knife, being careful not to go through the skin. And then you can just pull the bones out. So that's if you want to remove the bones. Spread half the marinade on the bottom. Flip them over. Spread the other half of the marinade over the top and set aside to marinate for about 30 minutes. If you're doing whole fish, I would do it for longer, maybe between 40 to 60 minutes. I'm heating a pan to cook the fish. I'm using an iron pan. If you haven't got an iron pan, use a non-stick pan. You want 2 to 3 tablespoons of either coconut oil or vegetable oil. I've got some ghee to use up. So I'm putting some ghee in. It's just going to make it super rich. These are not going to take long to cook at all. So they're going to go in skin side down first. Press them down. I'm going to give them about 3 to 4 minutes on this side. While that's cooking, I've got some of these lovely little micro herbs from Waitrose. I'm just going to snip a mixture. You could finish them off with some fresh coriander. But these are so pretty. When you're cooking, you can see how much it's cooking. So I can see that it's starting to come up the sides. These have had about 3 minutes. I'm going to carefully turn each one over. And just give it maybe a minute and a half on the other side. I messed one up turning it over. Okay, so I probably had the light too high, but I don't mind mine a little bit burnt. I've also messed one up as I turned it over. You can either just serve one or 2 pieces. I think I'm just going to serve one. I'm going to dress with some salad and a little piece of lemon on the side. Just a nice thing to do if you're serving guests is, where possible, pick out the pips, the seeds, because it just makes squeezing easier. And there we have it, Southern Indian fish fry.